Welcome to Module 3, where we will explore demand and supply analysis and various pricing strategies. In this video, we begin by defining a market as a group of buyers and sellers for a particular good or service. Buyers collectively determine the demand for a product, while sellers determine its supply. Next, we examine demand. The quantity demanded is the amount of a good that buyers are willing and able to purchase. The law of demand states that as the price of a good rises, the quantity demanded falls, and when the price falls, demand rises. Demand represents the relationship between price and quantity. This is often organized into a demand schedule, which is a table, or a demand curve, which is a graph with price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal. This slide displays Catherine's demand schedule and curve. It illustrates how lower prices correspond to an increase in the quantity of ice cream cones demanded, resulting in a downward sloping demand curve. Market demand is the sum of all individual demands for a good. To find the market demand curve, we sum the individual demand curves horizontally. This total quantity changes as price varies, assuming other factors remain constant. Here we see how market demand is calculated by summing individual demands. By adding the quantities demanded by Catherine and Nicholas at each price point, we derive the total quantity demanded in the market. This graph illustrates the summation process, adding Catherine's individual demand curve to Nicholas's results in the overall market demand curve, reflecting the total market behavior. Shifts in the demand curve occur when there is a change that affects the quantity demanded at every price. An increase in demand shifts the curve to the right, while a decrease shifts it to the left. This visualization shows how the demand curve moves. A rightward shift represents an increase in demand, while a leftward shift represents a decrease, based on changes in buyer behavior at any given price. Several key variables can shift the demand curve. These include income, prices of related goods, consumer tastes, future expectations, and the total number of buyers in the market. Regarding income, goods are categorized as either normal or inferior. For a normal good, increased income raises demand, whereas for an inferior good, increased income leads to a decrease in demand. Related goods impact demand as either substitutes or complements. With substitutes, a price increase in one leads to higher demand for the other. With complements, a price increase in one decreases demand for the other. Other factors include changes in consumer tastes and future expectations. For example, anticipating higher future income or higher prices can increase current demand, and an increase in the number of buyers will raise market demand. In conclusion, to reduce the demand for products like cigarettes, policies can focus on shifting the demand curve or increasing prices. This raises the question of which strategy is most effective in achieving public health goals. Moving on, there are two primary methods to reduce the quantity of smoking demanded. The first is to shift the demand curve for tobacco products through public health campaigns, mandatory warnings, and limiting advertising. The second method is to raise the price of cigarettes, often through taxation. This results in a movement along the demand curve, where higher prices lead to a decrease in the quantity consumed, especially among teenagers. Now let's shift our focus to supply. The quantity supplied is the amount of a good sellers are willing and able to sell. The law of supply states that, other things equal, when the price of a good rises, the quantity supplied rises. Supply is defined by the relationship between price and quantity. This is analyzed using a supply schedule, which is a table, or a supply curve, which is a graph with price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal. This slide shows Ben's supply schedule and curve. Because a higher price increases the incentive to produce, the supply curve slopes upward, illustrating a positive relationship between price and quantity supplied. Market supply is the total sum of all individual supplies for a good. We find the market supply curve by summing these individual supply curves horizontally, keeping other factors constant while the price of the good varies. This visual demonstrates how to calculate market supply. By adding the quantities that different sellers, such as Ben and Jerry, are willing to provide at each price, we determine the total market supply at that specific price. These graphs show the individual supply curves for Ben and Jerry and how they combine to form the total market supply curve. Each individual contribution adds up to represent the overall market behavior. Shifts in the supply curve happen when there is a change that affects the quantity supplied at every price. If producers are willing to supply more at every price, the curve shifts right. If less, it shifts left. This diagram illustrates these shifts. A rightward shift reflects an increase in supply, while a leftward shift signifies a decrease in the quantity producers are willing to offer at any given price point. There are 4 primary variables that can shift the supply curve: changes in input prices, advances in technology, expectations about the future, and the total number of sellers in the market. Input prices and technology are critical factors. An increase in the price of inputs raises costs and decreases supply. Conversely, technological advancements typically lower production costs, allowing for an increase in supply. Expectations also play a role. If sellers expect higher prices in the future, they may reduce current supply. Additionally, an increase in the number of sellers directly increases the total market supply. Finally, we consider pricing strategies. Pricing strategies are the processes and methodologies that businesses utilize to set the most effective price for their products and services. Determining the right pricing strategy is essential for a business, as it directly influences revenue and market positioning. This concludes our overview of supply, demand, and foundational pricing concepts. We begin our look at specific pricing strategies with penetration pricing. This strategy involves setting a low initial price to quickly gain market share. Penetration pricing aims to secure high sales volumes, making it common for mass market products like groceries or household goods. It is particularly useful when entering a brand new market. In contrast, market skimming is a strategy where a company sets a high initial price to maximize revenue from customers willing to pay a premium. This approach is suitable for products with short life cycles or those facing future competition. Examples include new technology, gaming consoles, or jewelry, where you skim profits before lowering the price over time. Next is value pricing. This strategy is entirely customer-focused, basing the price of a product on its perceived value rather than just the cost of production. Companies determine value-based prices through marketing techniques like customer feedback. This is common for exclusive or status-driven goods, where the price reflects what the consumer believes the product is worth. The loss leader strategy involves selling a product at a price below its cost. The goal is not to profit on that specific item, but to attract customers into the store. Retailers use loss leaders to encourage shoppers to purchase other profitable items during their visit. For example, a low-priced printer might be sold to drive the future sales of expensive ink cartridges. Psychological pricing is a strategy that leverages consumer perception. It uses specific price points to influence how a customer evaluates the cost of a product. A classic example is charging £9.99 instead of £10. By keeping the price just below a whole number, retailers aim to make the product feel more affordable to the buyer. Going rate pricing, or price leadership, occurs when a firm sets its prices based on the prevailing rates of major competitors in the market. In industries with limited competition, such as fuel or banking, firms often follow the lead of a dominant player. Setting prices too high risks losing market share, while setting them too low can trigger a price war. Tender pricing is a specialized strategy often used for large contracts. In this scenario, firms submit their best price in a competitive, often secret, bidding process. The client then evaluates these bids to select the option that offers the best value. This method is common in construction, government procurement, and large-scale corporate projects. Finally, we consider price discrimination, a strategy where a seller charges different prices to different customers for the same product to maximize total revenue. This concludes our review of key pricing strategies.